For this video, we're going to be doing a little bit of work with the same verbs, but we're going to be conjugating them as normal verbs. So here I have what we call frequency adverbs. And these are words that describe how often you do something. So you can see it goes from 0% nunca, which means never, to 100% of the time, siempre, which is always. These percentages aren't exact, they're just a guide here for you to get an idea of when you can use them. So I'd like to go ahead and start by just separating out my verbs and figuring out how often I do them. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sentences out of them. Tomar fotos. I would probably say about 50% of the time. A veces, which means sometimes. Jugar videojuegos, definitely never. Jugar videojuegos. Then we have ir de excursión. I would say once in a while, de vez en cuando. Pintar, something I really like to do, but I don't really get the chance to do it. So I'm going to put that here also, de vez en cuando. Nadar, something I do very often, siempre, and so on and so forth. The only one of these that's going to be really unique is going to be nunca. So if you take a look here in the example, nunca is going to take the place of no in the grammatical structure. It's going to go right before the verb. So you're saying, I never play video games, just like you could say, no juego videojuegos. Meaning, I don't play video games. That's the only one that has to go in a specific spot. The rest of them can go in the beginning or at the end of the sentence, and it's going to be fine. Here's the tricky part. We do have some verbs where we have to start conjugating irregular verbs that are commonly used. The ones that I especially want to point out are going to be ir de excursión, because ir is going to be irregular. Ir is a verb that means to go. And it's one that we're going to use a lot from here on out. We're going to be using it all the time. But it conjugates as voy, V-O-Y, voy, I go. It's very irregular, but it's one that you want to pay attention to. And there's another one, ir de compras, to go shopping, which is going to conjugate the same way. You're not going to conjugate the rest of the phrase, so that would stay the same. Voy de excursión, for example, to go hiking. And then I can add my frequency, de vez en cuando. I go hiking once in a while. And then we have jugar. And jugar is not so irregular, but there is what they call a spelling change. So the verb that starts out like this gets what we call a U to UE spelling change. So when we conjugate it, we have to make sure that U becomes UE. And then we continue on our normal conjugation, where we're going to X out take off the last two letters. We're going to add our new conjugation, in this case, O, for the O form. And that's how jugar becomes juego. We'll see these, at least the common ones, a little bit later on. But right now you're going to have to remember voy and juego, that they're just a little bit irregular when you conjugate them and when you want to use them. So once I have these down, I'm going to go ahead and put a list to the side of the conjugations, and I'm going to go ahead and form my sentences with them. Now, since we worked with gustar, and we're going to combine these together. So first I'm going to put how I felt, or what I said with gustar. So I did say, me gusta tomar fotos. And now I want to elaborate on it. With this grammatical structure, we don't have to conjugate gustar because it's actually already conjugated. We've taken off the R. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to conjugate tomar fotos so that we can add some more detail to this sentence. So in order to do that, remember, I'm taking off my AR. I'm going to replace it with an O. I'm going to do that here off to the side. Tomo photos. And I can add my frequency. So I said a veces. And now here I have something just a little bit more interesting. Me gusta tomar fotos. Tomo fotos a veces. I like to take pictures. I take pictures sometimes. I'd like for you to go ahead and to go through these and to explain the things that you like and don't like and how often you do them. And I just want to point out that it's not exclusive that if I don't like something, I never do it. There are plenty of things that you have to do in life that you don't like to do, and there's plenty of things you really like to do that you might not get the chance to do, and that's okay. I'll give you one example. Me gusta mucho leer libros. And I'm going to put my frequency at the beginning just to mix it up. De vez en cuando. I have to conjugate leer. I'm taking off the ER. I'm adding my O. Leo. Leo libros. And here I go again. I have two sentences, two different grammatical structures, and I'm just able to communicate more ideas this way. So I'm going to ask you to go through here and to pick out at least 6 activities that you feel any way about. It doesn't have to be all that you like or all that you don't like, but to give us 2 sentences per activity. One using the gustar form, which if you already have that done, that's fine. But then another one using this form and elaborating on how often you do something.